Mouse News fans, as many of you may have already heard, the Guardian recently came out with, I believe it was the UK Guardian, came out with an article saying that Kim Jong-un was now handing out copies of Mein Kampf to senior government officials, asking them to study it, and that they had to study it. Now initially, I was like, whatever. I mean, this is like one of those like really ridiculously childish things that they make up. Although this is actually less ridiculous than most of the crap they make up. It's turned out now that this has come from the Yonhap, the South Korean state media, that they like to downplay is actually owned by the government. They like to say the North Korean state media, yet they like to pretend that when it's coming from Yonhap, it's also not also coming from state media. Anyway, it's one that makes the claim that Kim Jong-un was handing out copies of Mein Kampf to senior government officials and I believe high-ranking military members as well. The claim, it seems, actually comes from high-profile defectors. Apparently, it's not been fully made clear on either side who these people are, but apparently they came from people who were higher up in the government. Now, the DPRK has, denied the charges because that doesn't even make any sense. It's like that really ridiculous thing that goes on in the heads of anti-communists where they think communism and Nazism are the same thing. You know that how an ideology like communism where everybody's equal is the same thing as Nazism where one group is superior to all others. And then never ridiculously acknowledging the tremendously stupid contradiction in that. And of course, there's many other comparisons that they make to Nazi Germany, which make absolutely no sense. I mean, it's a ridiculous claim that Kim Jong-un would hand out Mein Kampf to everybody. It's stupid. This is along the lines of one of those baseless slanders that the DPRK is somehow racist. Which, doesn't even make any sense, and it's based on that stupid, The Cleanest Race book by the guy who said Kim Il-sung has a cult of personality because he had the arduous march and Mao had the long march. Even though that makes absolutely no goddamn sense whatsoever, because the arduous march actually happened after Kim Il-sung died. Okay, that's my point. It's by that same lying idiot. The DPRK has fired back against these accusations, saying that they're not true. With them not supporting that idea at all, which still gains traction because people are, monstrously fucking stupid when it actually comes to the ideas of Marxism. Now, apparently, this might actually really be true, that the people who are saying this, defectors, high-profile defectors, actually were that, high-profile defectors, because the North Korean media has fired back, North Korean state media, has fired back saying that these people were criminals, that they were embezzling funds and they were doing all kinds of other illegal stuff. Now, of course, as per usual, no names have actually been released on any of this, but it does appear as though that these people were actually high-profile defectors. Of course, as usual, no actual evidence for copies of Mein Kampf being handed out is, actually in existence. There's no actual evidence of that. So by that same token, I'm just going to go ahead and say that according to sources, which shall remain nameless, as usual, the South Korean government is handing out copies of David Duke's work rewritten to say that white people are inferior. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and say that with absolutely no source whatsoever, so that should be just as believable. But in the end, the DPRK government has made a strong condemnation of these people and have made numerous accusations as to what they have done, that they may or may not have done, and that the idea that they give out Mein Kampf to their leaders is absolutely ridiculous. Which is actually the one believable thing out of this entire story. The idea of a communist country handing out Mein Kampf to its leaders to study.